So it's another beautiful Wednesday afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us on the program Flipside. And I'm your host today, Daisy Leo Asikidi. It is the first edition for the year 2024. How excited are you? How exciting can this be? A lot of people didn't get into 2024. A lot of people actually screamed Happy New Year at 12 midnight on the first day of January, but I can assure you that today they are no more. So if you are one of those who's still breathing, you should be glad, you should be excited. And that's why today's edition is actually for you, because we all have long-term goals, long-term aspirations. We have things we want to achieve in the long run, in the long term. But before you get there, you need to make smaller plans to get the big picture. And that's why in today's show, we're talking about 2024, setting goals and getting it right. So whether you're a business person, you're a family man, even as a country, Nigeria, we need to ensure that we enjoy 2024. Things are tough, things are hard, but there must still be a way around it. I'm sure you agree with me. All right, on the show with me today is Felicia, and Felicia AY. Okay, please. She's also one of our staff here, but there's this AY part of your name that I've never asked.
Okay.
What's it for?
Okay, that's my native name.
What does it
I
mean?
shorten it.
Oh.
It's called Ayiremere in full.
Ayiremere. Ayiremere.
Yes.
Oh, I should have asked that even before we came on air. Okay. I think I know the meaning of that one, or at least I could try.
Okay. Give it a try.
You remember my name.
Well, the name part is not but you tried. Okay. It more has to do with remembrance, and my grandmother gave me the name.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, trying to think why she gave me the name, I think I can
Figure out why.
Yeah, why she gave me the name.
Okay. So, Felicia will be with me on the show today, and together we're going to be talking about how we can set the right agenda for this year and how we can actually get it right. You know, it's, I remember before the end of the year, first week of January on radio, I was talking about how far your New Year resolutions that you made in January, or should I not talk about it?
How market?
Yeah, exactly, how market. And that usually happens. People have plans, they have resolutions. I'm going to achieve this, I'm going to lose 50 kg, I'm going to gain those squats and have figure 8, I'm going to stop this habit, I'm going to imbibe a new one. And at the end of the year, nothing changes, or it's even worse. But we will get it right today. So Felicia, viewers, in case I also call her Felicity, pardon me. We're so used to calling her both. She has a name, which is Felicia. She has a radio name, which is Felicity. And so we just interchange this both. All right, now, how can individuals now effectively set goals for this 2024 that we align with their long-term aspirations?
Okay. First of all, I think people have to actually know the real meaning of resolutions and where goal setting comes in. Resolution is you as an individual looking inward and telling yourself that, okay, these are the values that I stand for as an individual. You have to clearly state your values. You have to state where you are going. Where do you see yourself in the next, say, 5 years? Where do you see yourself in the next 10 years? You have to, like a writer said, have the end in mind. That will help you to know, okay, since this is the end I have in mind, these are the steps I need to take to get to that end. So whatever steps you are taking, it is based on your values, your principles, the kind of person you want to be perceived as, not just now. 10 years later, 15 years later, I can even dare to say 50 years later for those that are still young. So you have to be sure of the kind of person you want to be perceived as. Because if you do not have the end in mind, the clear truth is that you're bound to do anything that comes to your mind. You're bound to make decisions based on impulse, based on your emotions, based on your current circumstance. That's why you see some persons, they'll be like, okay, I'm going to do this thing this year. And at the end of that year, nothing has been done. It's because they did not rightly set their principles. You see some persons, they'll say, it's my friend though that led me into doing what I did. It means the person has not identified what he or she stands for. So the moment you identify what you stand for, it will be easier for you to know what to filter out of your life and what to keep.
Okay, but are there ways people could actually achieve those goals? Like, is there some kind of principle? Because I don't know why it's so easy for some and it's really difficult for others. I know who I am. I'm a Christian. I know I am in Christ Jesus. And one of my agenda is I'm going to read 3 chapters of the Bible every day. But after maybe 2 weeks, most churches do 21 days fasting. After the first 21 days, you begin to find that it's getting more difficult. So are there some kind of secrets that we need to know?
Yes, there are. There are secrets, because what sets successful people apart from others is the fact that they have principles that they follow, is the fact that they have laws they have set for themselves, and they are telling themselves that no matter what, these laws, these principles, I will follow them. Okay, now based on goal setting, your goal has to follow a particular pattern in setting your goals. It has to be what you call SMART. SMART. Your goals must be SMART. And what does SMART stand for? SMART is specific. When you want to set a goal, take for instance, talking about money saving. You want to save money. You can't just say, in this year 2024, I want to save more. It's not specific. You have to, say for instance, in this year 2024, I want to save ₦1 million in the next 6 months. So you have a figure and you have a time frame for your goal. That's a specific goal. Then the A means it has to be actualizable. In other words, you don't set vague goals. You don't set goals that you know within yourself that this thing is impossible. It's just like a child of 6 saying, Dad, by this year 2024, I will build a house. It's not realistic, of course. It's not achievable. So your goals has to be achievable. It's something that you know that if you discipline yourself, you can actually achieve it. Then the R stands for realistic. It's closer to the A. Achievable goals are realistic goals. Goals that you can actually, at the end of the day, you can say, okay, yes, this is the goal I set, and this is how far I have gone. It's measurable, which brings us to the M. I think I messed it up a bit.
Yeah.
Measurable, which brings us to the M. The M, your goals has to be measurable. In other words, yes, you said you want to save ₦1 million, and
how much do you earn?
Exactly. How much do you earn? So you have to tie that to what you earn. If you know that, judging by the amount you earn currently, it's not possible, it means you have to look for an additional source of income.
Word.
So you have to go ahead. If it's to learn a new skill just to get an additional source of income, go ahead and do it. And that is where persistence come in. Because in learning skills, I've discovered that, even using myself as an example, it takes persistence to actually stay on one thing. It takes determination to stay on a particular thing and say, okay, no matter what, I'm going to get better at this. I remember when I started learning audio and video editing. It was difficult. At a point when I started, it seemed so easy. But when I got to the middle, I got stuck. There were apps that I've never used before, and trying it out was like, I consulted videos. There are some videos that after watching, I think I'm more confused. I think I've gotten it until I start to practice. I'll be like, wait though, they did it like this. How come me I'm not getting it?
Yeah.
But after a while, I took a break. I took a break off editing, and I went and got motivation. I got revived. Let me use that word for lack of a better word. So I came back and I discovered that, yes, I cannot achieve this with the kind of pressure I'm putting on myself. I have to calm down and look at this thing in another perspective. How do I ensure that each day I grow on this thing? So I set a daily goal on my audio editing. Each day, I watch and practice for an hour. So whether I like it or not, I'm learning something within an hour. So each day I'm doing that. It's building me on that thing. That is a realistic goal and it's measurable.
Interesting. Okay. Well, we need to have our goals. We need to write it down. We need to give it a time frame. We need to make sure it is realistic. We need to also ensure it's measurable. All right. We're going to go on a quick break on the show quickly. Yeah. We have 3 videos that we're going to be pushing play to because it's still the holidays. The break will officially be ending on Monday next week, which is 8th of January. And schools will resume, workers will go back to work. But before that time, people are still hanging out. People are still having dinners to start the year, to mark the end of year. And people are still having visitors. So you still have to feed them. And we're all been advocating balling these celebrations on the budgets. So I have 3 videos on the show that we'll be playing before we go. The first one is dining etiquettes, so that for those who are still going to have dinners, they know how to comport themselves in public and how to, people go for dinners and they close deals. So you know how to ensure that when you're out from that dinner, that program, that event, people look at you with respect. Not be everything be a beggy and okay. Sometimes you just have to care. When you're amongst your friends, they might not judge, but there are gatherings you eventually will get to. All of these tips will come very handy and you would wish you know them. Then we also have a video on how to make vegetable salad, a very beautiful one. That instead of the regular rice, you can have the vegetable salad with chicken or any kind of protein for your guests, or you could even have it with bread. That will make a very nice sandwich. Then we also have a video on how to make zobo and lemonade. So we're gonna start with food at this time, then we'll come back to the studio.
Food is commonly used to nourish and entertain guests during interviews, dinner parties, Christmas celebrations, Igwe festivals, wedding parties, Valentine dinner, and all kinds of events. Food gets served. It is one thing to get served and begin to eat like a glutton, and it is another to eat and get admiration from those around. And so, proper table manners are needed for our formal and informal dates. Table manner rules are not complicated, and most importantly, they will help you make a great impression at your next meal. Especially for formal dates or business dinners, immediately you sit at the table. Make good use of your napkin. Your napkin is not a serviette paper. It is big, wide, and thick. Place your napkin on your lap. Immediately upon sitting down, unfold it while it's in your lap. And if you want to get up, pick up your napkin from your laps, fold it back, and put it on your table before you leave. If you're hosted in a restaurant, you're expected to order for your food. Now, order something simple and familiar. Study the menu thoroughly before you order, so you don't order what the restaurant don't serve. To show you're ready to order, close your menu, place it on the table, and the waiter will come to you. Don't yell for the waiter like you're at the bus stop. But if it's not a restaurant you're being hosted, maybe a family house, you might not have much choice as to what you want to be served. But try to eat whatever they serve you. Have a taste of everything placed in front of you. And for difficult foods like spaghetti, which is a common food in many homes, you need to learn how to eat spaghetti perfectly. Now, this is how you eat spaghetti. Once your spaghetti is served, don't twirl with the support of your spoon. Always use your fork only. Never cut the thread of your pasta with a knife. And once it gets into your mouth, chew. Don't slop like. Keep the fork in a vertical position. Put the prongs down against the rim and twirl. Rotate the fork in a clockwise direction and lift. Don't overload your fork so you can neatly put everything in your mouth. And now that you've learned how to eat spaghetti, sometimes we eat and get inconveniences like burn, onion, or we just have unwanted food in our mouth and we want to take it out. Unwanted food is removed from the mouth in the manner in which it is put into the mouth. Food put into the mouth with a utensil is removed with that same utensil. Meanwhile, foods eaten with the fingers, if you must remove unwanted food from such, you would also remove them with your fingers. We all know talking while eating is inevitable. So, if you have more than a few words to say, don't speak with your mouth full. Swallow your food. Rest your fork on your plate and speak before you resume eating. Don't gesture with a knife or the fork in your hands while you talk. It is not a battlefield. And also, don't drink with your mouth full. To avoid leaving food on the rim of the vessels, make sure the mouth is free of food and blot the lips with a napkin before taking a sip of your beverage. And now, about beverages and liquids we take at the table. We have different types of wine and different bottles, glasses for them. About wines, enjoy your wine when you're served. Don't rush it once it's poured into the proper glass. Instead, it is time for you to evaluate and enjoy the wine. Evaluating wines involve 4 basic steps: looking at it, swirling it, smelling it, and tasting it. Hold the wine glass up against a white background, such as a napkin or a tablecloth, preferably white, or ensure that the wine glass you're served with is a transparent wine glass so you can see the color of the wine. Red wines should range in color from deep purple to brick red, while white wines should range in color from lemon gold to golden amber. And after you've examined the color, you swirl your wine in your wine glass to aerate it. While you're done with that, you smell the wine. Put your nose in the glass and take a deep breath. Older wines should have subtler aromas than younger ones. And then you taste. To taste the wine, fill your mouth about half full and softly swish the wine around before you swallow. There are different wine glasses for different wines. Watch and learn. This is the first wine glass. It is short and very small. Use it during cocktail parties. In this wine glass is the champagne flute. It is narrow at the top to allow the bubbles from the wine come up and you can see the sparkling clarity of the wine. We also have the white wine bottle. It is wider than the champagne glass but not as wide as the red wine glass. This white wine glass is very portable. We also have this glass for red wine. The red wine glass can come in 2 shapes. It could be a bit round like the white wine glass but definitely wider, or it could come in this triangular shape. The point is the bottom, the base of the red wine glass is always wider than the rim, and this is to allow your wine aerate. You do not hold the wine at the base so that the heat from your hand doesn't alter the taste. You hold the wine glass at the stem. Utensil etiquette is also very important. In most situations, where so much cutleries are arranged on the table, use the outside-in rule to tell which fork, knife, or spoon to use at the dinner table. Start with the cutlery farthest from you and gently walk your way in. And if you drop a utensil, pick it up yourself and ask for the waiter to replace it. Don't clean and use it again. But if you cannot reach it, inform the waiter and ask for a replacement. Don't stand up from your chair to go pick up a fallen cutlery. It is wrong. And now, no matter how delicious the food is, do not scrape your plate. Scraping the plate or loud chewing is unpleasant to listen to, and it is considered impolite. Try to cut your food into 1 bite size or 2 bite size pieces at a time. Don't cut it all like a baby. And when eating soup, spoon the soup away from you towards the center of the bowl. Usually, soup is served in a deep plate or a deep bowl, but please don't drink directly from the plate or bowl. And no matter how hot the soup is, don't blow on it or on a spoonful of soup. Do not slop like very delicious, and never tilt your bowl. Don't fill the spoon too much. Hold the spoon by resting the end of the handle on your middle finger with your thumb on top of it. And now, what you must do is fill your spoon by moving it away from you so it doesn't spill on your dress. Fill only 2/3 of your spoon with soup. Then sip from the side of the spoon quietly. When the soup is over, leave the spoon in the bowl, not on the table. In this era of electronics, please turn off or silence all electronic devices before entering the restaurant. If you forgot to turn off your cell phone and it rings, immediately turn it off. Do not answer the call. Do not text and do not browse the internet at the table. Be polite at the table. A simple "excuse me, please, I'll be right back" can do a lot for you. Do not leave the table without a word. Always be excused before you leave. When sneezing or coughing at the table is unavoidable, just cover your nose or mouth with a napkin and proceed as quietly as possible with the sneeze or the cough. Except in an emergency where you need to blow your nose, please don't use the napkin to blow your nose. Excuse yourself, leave the table, and use an handkerchief instead. Another thing you need to know is that food should be passed to the right or the left, but the point is, food has to move only in one direction. One diner either holds the dish as the next diner takes some food, or he hands it over to the person who then serves himself and hands it over to the next person. No crossing your hands over someone to pass food. And still on how things should be passed at the table, cream pitchers and other dishes with handles should be passed with the handle towards the person receiving them. And also, if someone asks for a salt or pepper, pass both the salt and the pepper. Even if the person asked for just one, pass both anyway. Each time service is provided at a multi-course meal, verbal acceptance is not necessary. But to review service, a verbal rejection of "no thank you" is given. And by the time you're done eating totally, just say "thank you." Even as you celebrate and go for all of these ceremonies, eat wise, eat decently, and be smart. Your body is your responsibility. Please take good care of it.
Alright, so this is flip side, the other side of the news, and we're already talking about how to get it right this 2024. We've talked about how to set your visions, your goals, your resolutions, and you need to follow through. And that's where this particular question is going to come into this discussion, and that's a question of accountability. What role does accountability play in setting goals and getting it right this 2024? So Felicity, I'm going to ask you, Felicia, I'm going to ask you this one. So what's the role of accountability? Who should we be accountable to? How can we even get this right?
Okay, I believe accountability is one of the key things in actualizing your goals, because having an accountability system keeps you on track. It keeps you focused, even in times where you might be feeling down. And accountability is not just for individuals. Even our government, yes, have to be accountable. Because when you're accountable, when you need to show proof, evidence of what you have done, it builds trust. Your people that you are serving or you are leading will trust you more, because they can indeed say, okay, your word is your bond, because you have evidence to show for it. As a business owner, it's also important for you to have an accountability system. Talking about auditing. When, as a business owner, you are able to audit your business on maybe a monthly basis, or for some persons, quarterly, every 6 months, while for some persons it could be yearly basis, it gives you a clear view of what you are earning, and those that are working with you will be able to see, okay, these are the efforts we have put in and this is the results it has yielded. Also, they will know that, okay, we didn't put enough effort last year, so this year this is what we need to do. Because when your workers, you are telling them to work harder and you are not showing them the results of what they've worked for, it's kind of discouraging. Exactly. So as an individual, accountability is crucial. It's key, because if you say you want to actualize a goal, it's difficult working alone. Like somebody said that interdependence is better, far better than independence. Yes, you can be dependent on yourself in some areas, but there are some areas you need a community of like minds. Let me use that word to be clear. People that think like you, people that have the same vision, not necessarily the same goals as you, but there are certain values you share with these people that you can say, okay, I connect with this person. If your value is to get better, your value is integrity, your value is a principled life, a life of honesty, and you find people who share these values with you, that is a people of like mind. So it's easier to work together. And the reason I said as an individual, it's essential because there are times you might not feel like doing it. You give yourself an excuse, like we mostly do. I beg you, I cannot come back in myself. Yeah, so, but when you have a community that pushes you, you can easily have that flow to say, okay, I want to go on no matter what it takes. Like for me personally, consistency challenge helps me a lot in terms of developing new habits. There was a time I wanted to read more, and I decided to join a 40-day consistency challenge. And in that challenge, the day you fail, you pay 500. So to see that there was a push, there is a system of accountability, and your goals, like I said before, have to be specific, and there is a system of measuring it. So by the time you are done with your goal for that day, you drop it on the group, and everybody can see it. Okay, this is what you did for today in alignment with the goal you said you want to keep. So the coach can easily see it and tick it. Attendance is being taken on a daily basis. So basically, that's another way of forming new habits. You want to form a new habit. Take, for instance, you want to read more, like me, or you want to do something else. It could be saving. You have to have a consistency period, not necessarily a challenge, but if you get a community where you can be involved in that challenge, fine. But if you cannot get a community, there are other ways to keep track. There are other ways to ensure that you stay on your goal. But having an accountability partner is another alternative to communities like that. Somebody you know that you respect. Somebody you know that, okay, I can't just tell this person anyhow. That's why I cannot have my friend. There are certain friends I cannot have as accountability partners because I can easily tell you, babe, I beg, you see this thing, I don't feel do it today. And they'll push on to another day now. She'll say, okay.
Exactly.
So I can't. It has to be somebody that is higher than me, someone of higher authority that I can easily say to, okay, sir, this is what I did today. And I know if I don't report back to that person, I don't want to look bad in that person's eyes. So it will keep me on my toes.
Interesting. Okay, now, but how do we get a balance with all of these goals and aspirations for the year? Because a lot of people, a lot of us have plans for, we have lifestyle goals, we have career goals, professional goals, yeah. We have personal goals as per relationship and family. So all of them are top priority and we need to balance it somehow. So what would you advise to people who need to find a balance so that there's really no aspect of your life that ends up suffering because you want to focus on one? Yes.
Yeah. Yes, that is very crucial. But I beg to disagree on the fact that there are aspects of your life that are not more important than others. I feel there are. It depends on you as an individual. First of all, this is what works for me in terms of setting goals. I do weekly goal setting. And I set my goals according to my role as an individual. Talking about my career goals, talking about my relationship goals, and relationship is broken down into several. I have to identify all the relationships in my life. Okay, take for instance, I know as in talking about family now, I'm a daughter, I'm a sister to siblings, I'm an auntie to my nephews and my nieces and all. I am somebody's friend people's friend. Let me use that word.
Somebody's girlfriend.
Yes. And aside from that, looking at future goals, I'm going to be somebody's wife. I'm going to be a mother. So I outline all those roles in my life. I'm a financial institution. I like to call myself that. Because as a financial institution, you have to keep track of your finances. Yes, as an individual, I set out another role as a mental development expert. As a social person, okay, I have social goals. So how do I ensure that each and every of these areas? So you have to look inward as an individual, write out all the roles in your life. And for some persons, you don't necessarily have to do weekly goals. It can be monthly goals. At the end of the month, you review them. That is where review is very important, because it's one thing to plan and you think it's in your head until you start doing things that are not in accordance with your plan. So you have to have a system of review. A system of review that could be monthly, that could be weekly. Review your goals. Like what I advise, I have a personal template for review as an individual. What I do, every month, aside from my weekly review, every month I set out 2 days to review. The first day is for Thanksgiving. I write out everything that I'm grateful for that month, the wonderful things that happened in my month, and the wonderful persons that made that thing happen. I write it down, and it helps to put me in the right perspective, to help me see things in a broader light, to see that, okay, yes, I know that there are ups and downs, but that's not the only thing that is going on in my life. I have good things also going on. It puts me in the right mindset. Then after that, I start my review properly. And to do a review, guys, girls, ladies, gentlemen, you need a journal. Yes, for those that don't like writing, you have to write. Because when you write, it sticks more to your brain. I don't know if anybody has ever told anybody that, but that's the fact. You have to write out your plans, your life. Okay, what I do is I divide my review into 6 categories. I look at my spiritual life. Definitely, we all, whatever faith we belong to, we believe in a supernatural being. So whatever faith you are, how do you conform to the teachings of this faith? Talking about your character as a person, because our faith helps to build us. If you say you're a Christian, you're a Muslim, or whatever you are, do the teachings reflect in your life? Ask yourself that and honestly answer it. Aside from that, I look at number 2, I look at my relationships. Talking about being a sister, going to be a mom someday, going to be somebody's wife. I look at it. How am I developing myself in this area? What character am I looking out for in my husband that I should also have as a wife? Talking about tolerance, and you know the characters you are looking for. We all know what we're looking for. So now looking at my finances. I look at my finances. What are the decisions I made last month that I shouldn't have made as regards my finances? Then I look at my health. How did I actually pay attention to my health? Did I eat well? Did I take my breakfast on time? Because some persons are good at skipping breakfast, and to an extent, I was guilty of that last year.
You chose.
So I make a decision that, okay, this coming month, this is what I intend to do differently. Then aside from my finances, I look at my purpose and assignment. Okay, talking about purpose and assignment is looking at my life 50 years from now, looking at my life 60, 70 years from now. What purpose can I say? What legacy will I say I left behind? And I look at the values I am actually portraying right now. Do they align with what I see, the person I see 50 years from now? If they don't align, what are the things I need to do to change it? Then lastly, which is very important, I look at my mental development. Yes, it's crucial. Whether you be a businessman, you be an artisan, it's very important that you develop yourself mentally. Yes, I mean, we're in a technological world where you can easily improve in whichever trade you are, in whichever field you find yourself. You can watch videos that help you to be the best at what you do. Yes, the sky is big enough for every bird to fly. It depends on how well you spread your wings. Okay, so personally, I read books. And some of the books I can say I read, like 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. That's a wonderful book that helped me personally. And other books, really. So if you're not a reader type, you're the visual type, just know yourself and okay, this is how I can improve on this aspect of my life, this field I am into, this thing that is giving me ego, that is giving me money. This is how I can improve on it and become better. Don't look at yourself because of the environment you are. Look at yourself as a global person. When you go out there, how will you present yourself? Just talking about etiquette that we learned a while ago. Because you don't know where you find yourself in the future. You don't know where your trade, where your business is going to lead you to. So you have to try as much as possible to improve on yourself. It's basically about personal development for me. The goal is to be better each day, and you plan out. So when you are done with reviewing those 6 categories, what I do is I write out, okay, this is the most performing area of my life. The areas that were most performing, I write it out. And why? Why was it most performing? I write it out, I list out the lessons that are there. Then I write out also which areas were the least performing. Why? If it's my finances, is it because I was a spendthrift or I'm an impulsive buyer? What do I need to do to change all of this? Then you can now start planning. And in planning, you take all those 6 categories into perspective and plan on each. Now, talking about importance now, there is a principle I learned from a certain book I read. It's called the 4 quadrants. You have things in your life that are important but not urgent. Those things are looking at your life in a long term. They are important, but they are not urgent. You can decide to skip it, but in the long run, you come
need it.
exactly.
Yeah.
There are those things that are urgent but important. Talking about your present needs, what you actually need to do today that you cannot leave. There are those things that are urgent but not important. There are those things that are important, they are not urgent. So you have to list out in your life what are those things, where do they fall into, and know how to work with it. So that will help you in terms of planning. Knowing the things that are not urgent and not important, you can easily push it aside. It could be your social life. Maybe right now, you don't actually need a social life because the kind of persons you have in your life are not helping you. So you can skip that. Rather than try to be friends with everybody, try to be the popular guy or the popular girl, like some persons will say. Why not read on relationships, how to build networks, how to build your net worth, because people will say that your net worth is your network, the kind of persons you network with, the kind of persons you move with. In a long way, determines how far you go in life. So basically, that's it.
Okay, so I want to say thank you so much because we've learned a whole lot about setting goals, getting it right today. And that's the bulk of our conversation. We're done talking. But we promised you 3 videos. We've already played 1, and I'm not sure we're going to be able to play all 3. I'm sorry about that. But if you were with us last week, we did play the video on how to make lemonade. But today, we'll tell you how to make salad. All right, vegetable salad, the regular salad we eat, and make a very beautiful bowl. For those who still have visitors and they don't want to cook rice, but people are actually tired of eating rice at this time. They just want something different. And that's how we're going to be wrapping today's show with that video. And I'll see you again next week.
Today, I'm showing you how to make a colorful bowl of vegetable salad, and I'm sharing the Nigerian style of creating it. If you love your veggies, then you will definitely love this one. So let's get right into it, okay? One thing I love about the Nigerian salad is how colorful it is and how rich it is and packed with loads and loads and loads and loads of nutrients. A typical Nigerian vegetable salad calls for an assortment of colorful vegetables, and whenever I am making a batch of vegetable salad, I always love to go all out with the veggies. In this video, I'll be making use of some white cabbage, some carrots, lettuce, sweet corn, kidney beans, bell peppers, tomatoes, and cucumbers. You'd also be needing a salad bowl to help keep your vegetables fresh in the fridge. This wooden one I got on Amazon is my favorite, and it helps keep my salad fresh for up to a week in the fridge. The beauty of any salad is in how well you cut the vegetables. Remember, we eat with our eyes first, and so taking time to cut the vegetables correctly will determine the overall look of the salad. With a very sharp knife and a chopping board, you can achieve the best cuts. I'm starting with the cabbage. Cut the cabbage in half. Take one half and set the other aside. The cabbage has beautiful patterns that can help guide your cuts, and it's important that you follow the patterns to achieve the perfect look. Place the knife on the side of the cabbage and start cutting out tiny strips, following the pattern. Be sure to make the strips as tiny and uniform in shape as possible. Now, this is exactly how you want the strip cuts to look like, guys. Continue cutting until you get to the core of the cabbage and then discard the core. If you're making a large batch of salad, you can use up all of the cabbage. If not, you can wrap the rest in foil paper and store in the crisper part of your fridge for up to 1 month. Place the shredded cabbage on a plate and set aside. Next, we move to the carrots. I always use a box grater to shred my carrots. The box grater has different shaped cuts, but I personally like to use this one with the big oval shaped holes. Just grab a carrot, hold it straight up with your hand, and then brush it against the grater. This will give you long strips that look similar to the cabbage. But remember to hold the carrots in an upright position to achieve this, okay? When you're done shredding, lift the grater up to reveal the shredded carrots. You guys, this is always my favorite part when shredding carrots. I'm always so excited to lift the grater up and reveal the beautiful carrot shreds. Look at that, guys. Such a sight to behold. Now place the shredded carrots on a plate and set aside. The lettuce also gets a good shred. Place all the lettuce leaves in the same direction and run the knife through, starting from the roots to the top. You guys, the crunch from the lettuce always gives me so much life. Place on the plate and set aside. For the cucumber, cut out the two ends and discard. Then cut the cucumber in half and then in quarters. Take out the inner part that contains the seeds. Then cut each quarter in strips and then in small dices. The tomatoes also gets a good chopping as well. Tomatoes are very optional and I try to avoid them because they go bad really quickly and may spoil the whole salad. What I do is I chop them up and then I store them separately. When I want a salad, I add them to the plate of salad I'm about to eat. But for the sake of this tutorial, I'm adding them to my salad bowl. If you want a pop of red color in your salad, you can use red bell peppers as a substitute. Remember that red bell peppers are not peppery at all. They don't have any peppery sensation at all. They're really, really sweet and can be added to your salads. Hard-boiled eggs are a must-add in a Nigerian salad. Just boil the eggs, allow to cool slightly, peel off the shell, and then cut in slices. The vegetables are all cut now. I gave my sweet corn and kidney beans a good rinse. It's all a matter of assembling all of the vegetables in my salad bowl. I always like to assemble the vegetables in layers. That way I don't have to worry about mixing them all together. And I find that it also helps make it look pretty as well. With each scoop, you get a bit of everything. So start with some cabbage, followed by carrots, then some lettuce, cucumber, sweet corn, kidney beans, and tomatoes. Repeat the same process until you have exhausted all of the cut vegetables. You do not necessarily have to follow the same pattern. You can create your own pattern. And then please also note that you can use any preferred vegetables of your choice. It's totally up to you, okay? I always like to pay extra attention to the top because that's what anyone will see first, and a pretty looking salad will be very inviting. So ensure that all the vegetables you are using make an appearance at the top. They have to be evenly distributed at the top so that at first glance, anyone can tell what vegetables are in the salad bowl. And of course, it just makes it look so nice. Finally, top with some hard-boiled egg slices if you choose to add them. Now that definitely looks like a pretty salad bowl to me and will definitely attract the attention of anyone who loves a good salad. You can enjoy your salad on its own with a salad dressing or cream, or even with some chicken, or you can enjoy as a side dish with a main dish.